So please join me in welcoming Alexandre LEMILLE, founder at Wise Impact and co-founder of the African Circular Economy Network. He has been involved with circular economy since 2011. Recognized by the World Economic Forum as highly recommended in the circular economy leadership category in 2016, he was also listed as top 25 innovative person by Change Hackers for his Circular Humansphere. He is also a visiting lecturer at Sciences Po Paris and at the University of Cape Town. His keynote speech will focus on beyond circular economy, reducing inequalities, applying the circular thinking on the context of globalization. Mr. LEMILLE, the floor is yours.
Merci. Mr. Ambassador, Mrs. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to be here today. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciated your invitation since we met in Uruguay, and you believe in what Circular Economy 2.0 could bring, and I will explain that to you today. Thank you, Sitra, and the French Embassy and the French Institute for organizing this event today. The circular economy is often depicted as the next economic model. The circular economy has the power to bring us to the safe operating space. But what about the just operating space? NASA, the spaceship agency from America, just announced 2 days ago that humanity might disappear by 2100 because of 2 issues: resource mismanagement and social inequality. So I believe it's about time to wake up as humanity and start addressing these issues from today onwards. So I will explain to you how can we include inequality as a concept in circular economy, because today it's not embedded. Today, circular economy do not ensure equal access to the economy to all of us as humans. And this is about time to design an economy which creates well-being for all of us, no matter where we're coming from. So let's use what I call the circular thinking to also apply it into the missing social dimension. What is inequality? Well, it's often explained as financial inequality, a mix of wealth distribution, income disparities, and consumption patterns. Beyond financial inequality, and this is just depicted here in what we call the elephant graph of global inequality. This is published every year by the World Inequality Database, with.world, if you want to check the information. And you see that the head of the elephant is the 50% of the population grasping 12% of the current economic growth. The middle of this elephant is us, the US and Western European societies. We are in our middle class and we are not grasping growth any longer. And obviously the famous top 100, which is a scandal every year in January when Oxfam publishes its number, grasping the top 1% of people, grasping 30%, nearly 30% of the economic growth every year. So if we want a next economic model, we better address inequality at the same time. How can we do that? Well, there's nothing stronger and higher than nature. When we look at natural ecosystems, all resources and all energies are flowing in an optimized way in our ecosystems. Every single element in nature, every single living beings in nature has a specific function or role to play. So why not us, humans? Why have we created these walls between us? So how can we activate those functions so we make sure that the next economic model answer the question, what's in it for me? Because if you don't answer the question, what's in it for me? Obviously, Finland is one of the most equal economies in the world. So you have water access, you have not so much trouble with the weather, so why caring? But this is not about Finland today. This is about designing an economic model that works for everyone, and obviously the poorest people on the planet. So how can we ensure that circular economy is embedded with inequality as a principle within it? Today it's not. The circular economy is often depicted as the butterfly diagram, where at the center you have the linear economy spine, and we are trying to create feedback loops from the green part of the graph, which is the biosphere, the natural ecosystem, and feedback loop from the technosphere, which is our economy, the material, the technical nutrient, as we call them. And the idea is to create those virtuous feedback loops so that we recover and we manage resources responsibly. But this is the nexus environment economy. There is no social dimension here. We are just consumers and users. Once again, we are seen as consumers and users. Can we have other roles to play to save humanity? The planet will still be there. Linear economy has generated a lot of scarcity issues. In circular economy, we often explain that this has led to some resource scarcity. We are 7.5 billion. We might not have enough resources to feed and to bring the needed goods to 11 billion people. Either we might not, or we cannot, because if we extract, we will generate so much CO2 that it won't be a livable planet. In circular economy, waste is at the core of the concept. We design waste out by designing those feedback loops so that we don't waste anymore. Waste is an invention of humans. Waste never existed in nature. We have created this concept of waste. But we have created another concept. We have created the concept of poverty in the social dimension. While waste is considered as the root cause of our environmental challenges, poverty should be considered as the root cause of our social challenges. Both poverty and waste should be designed out in our next economic model. And it could make sense. It could make business sense. In the Spirit Level book, we learned that inequality and poverty is not good news for business. So why can't we embed poverty at the same time? While we have millions of brains working on circular economy, eradicating waste from our systems, why can't we eradicate poverty at the same time using that circular thinking method that I've just mentioned, those feedback loops? It's possible, it's doable, and it's preferable, as Neza is just saying. How can we do that? Well, circular economy is the management of stock, quality of stock, amount of stock, and flows of energy. These are the two things that we measure in circular economy. We understand how much stock we have of resources and how can we grasp energies flowing into our markets or on our planet. So we understand the level of our stock in the biosphere, in the green part. We understand the level of our material stock in the technosphere. But there is a third stock. When I look at the planet, I see a third stock. I see a third stock of resource and energy. You and me, we are a stock of resources. We are matter. We are energy. And guess what? We are the growing stock. We are the only stock that is growing. We are 7.5 billion and we are moving to 11 billion. The French ambassador just mentioned the dramatic growth of population. But if we look at this social dimension, which is missing today in the circular economy 1.0 model, and if we look at this graph, we say, why can't we be innovative? Why can't we use that stock? Why can't we see that stock as abundant resources and endless energies that we can potentially use in a clever way? And then we could measure all these stocks and understand whether I can use my natural stock, my human stock, or my technical stock according to my priorities in my market. We don't have to use the human sphere in each and every circular project. So how about inserting a human sphere in the butterfly diagram to maybe have a more comprehensive perspective of what stocks are available to me? As I said, we don't have to use all the stocks, but it's there. We are energy. We are there. We are a stock that is available at low temperature, at natural temperature. We are there, whether you use us or not. But it's not about using us as in the early 20th century in the Fordism supply chain. It's about using us in a clever way, maybe with universal incomes, maybe as a new inventive ways to see that stock of humans. The relation with the biosphere in green here, we consider ourselves as nature. We are nature. So there are 4 strategies, and the strategies between the human sphere and the biosphere is to say, can we develop a strategy of adaptation? Can we, like the ants wait more than all humans on the planet. Every day they are rebuilding the ecosystem. Can we, as nature, rebuild our own ecosystems instead of destroying it? There could be different adaptation strategies, like collective strategies to reforest or afforest an area. But it could be other strategies, like replacing environmental functions. And we will see an example in the next slide. It's possible. There could be other strategies of adaptation that are more scientific, and we need to learn from those scientists to understand how to adapt and to how human behavior could rebuild the biosphere. The strategy of evolution, the feedback loop from the biosphere into the human sphere, is about understanding from the scientist the evolutionary path of our ecosystems. We just learned that every day or every week we have climatic drama. How can we evolve, and how can we understand better those feedback loops from the life? The link from the biosphere into the human sphere is the life link. How can we understand this evolutionary path and adapt to it? In blue, it's us as endless energy. We are endless energy. Once we sleep and we eat, we can fix, we can repair, we can remanufacture goods in our economy. In an economy of 11 billion people, is it wise to just rely on robots, whereby we already know that we are missing resources from the ground at 7.5 billion? Question mark. But I'm not saying we should go back to the old good days. I'm saying let's be innovative and let's see ourselves as endless energy and as preferred energy, because we are available energy. And then the advancement strategy, the advancement square, is a new way of measuring humanity progress towards our own survival. And this advancement is about 3 things. It's about how much well-being are we reaching out to well-being for all? Are we adapting enough under our strategy of adaptation with the biosphere? And how are we valorizing enough materials so that we provide materials to all human beings? And then we could have two new business models which are based on regenerative activities and restorative jobs. We could provide endless jobs and activities for all. It depends on how we want to reward those activities. But like I was saying before, in the natural ecosystem, each of us could have a role to play to rebuild this messed up ecosystem. Few examples here. In Ghana, it's not about obviously the working conditions, because they are not acceptable from a European point of view, but it's more about learning from those markets that understand what scarce resources are. In Ghana, since the 70s, 60s, there hasn't been parts to fix cars on the road of Accra. Human energies have been there to fix those cars. It's like in Cuba. So when you are scarce in terms of material resources, humans are there as energy to fix the system. Replacing environmental function. In China, the Sichuan, the Mayoxan ladies in China, in Sichuan region, they have been replacing the missing bees to hand-pollinate fruit trees. Otherwise, there's no fruits. The bees have been missing. So until such time the bees are coming back, the humans are replacing environmental function. Why can't we do that? Human assisting robots in Germany, Mercedes S-Class factory in south of Germany, have been reintroducing humans because there were too many customizations and the robots couldn't keep up. In Sweden, you most probably know that they've dropped VAT taxes from 25% to 12% on businesses, repair-based businesses, to repair materials. Elon Musk, back in April 2018, just announced that humans were underrated in his Tesla factory, and he missed the Tesla 3 model deadlines because he was just relying on robots, which were not versatile enough. In the Netherlands, but it was also a project in France, people are now paid to cycle. They paid 60 euro because they are not using their car, and instead they use their bike. They are paid 60 euro to avoid all the related cost of having cars on the road. But they could be paid double because I guess the related costs are far higher than 60 euro per month. But when we look at these examples from European markets, in Germany, how about taxing scarce resources? Cars are made of rare earth metal, which are a monopoly of China. And how much time do we have until up the shops while cycling in front of them? So to make sure inequality is part of the circular economy, we have these first three principles that I would call the safe principles, with the third one, which is a bit tweaked because it's about all externalities, including social externalities. I would add three more principles, which I would call the just principle, the just space for humanity principle. Equality makes business sense. Like I said, in the Spirit Level book, we explained that an unequal world is not good for business. So it's about versatility here. A just principle about developing financial ability as a priority. It's about affordability. An economy where I have to buy my phone, I have to buy my TV, I have to buy my car to access it is obviously an economy creating barriers, and it's obviously not absorbing the last billion people at the poverty level, at the poverty line. An economy of service where I can access what I need when I need it, could be very much affordable, but we need to embed this principle into the economy to ensure it's happening. And last principle, the just principle of using manpower, is innovative because it's available. It's there at low temperature. Manpower is available. It's just a matter of deciding whether we want to use it or not in our circular project. Lastly, the top of the human sphere is about measurement. It's about understanding the strategy of evolution. How much do we know from it, and how can we adapt to that strategy of evolution? And the strategy of advancement, whereby we will measure progress of humanity. And this is a proposal here to have a kind of dashboard for every country or every company or every government or NGOs with 10 outcomes now that is embedded with the human sphere in the middle, whereby we measure these outcomes to ensure that we reach regenerated land, we reach better health for all, we reach improved human development for all, at the same time as preserving resources. So we create an equal world. Last slide. This is the latest version of the circular human sphere. And the fact to have a human sphere at the center of the butterfly graph displaces the topic from creating a world with material circularity as an objective, from creating a world where we address human needs thanks to circular economy, thanks to material circularity. So material circularity is no longer a mean to an end. It's a mean to an end, the end objective being addressing human needs. So the first priority here at the center of this slide is addressing human needs thanks to material circularity. The second priority is designing not only waste, but poverty out of our economic systems and our human ecosystems, thanks to the circular thinking, thanks to these feedback loops that we create to embed as many people as possible and to preserve as many resources as possible. And the last priority, the final word, is that like any economic revolution, we might go to a consumption rebound. And that's a critical topic. Okay, we hide ourselves from that consumption rebound, but that might be a reality. The only solution that I foresee here, and we can debate it, I'm open to discussion, is what I call the collective decentration. Not deciding as an individual, not deciding as a collective individual, but deciding as if we were the next 2, 3, or 4 generations of humans beings to come. So decentration comes from the Iroquois law in the Indian tribes in North America, and they are able to decide on their survival because they don't decide for themselves, they decide for the 2 or 3 next generation. How can blockchain, how can these new technologies make sure that every decision we take at governmental level and at corporate level is based on decentration? I don't decide for myself, I don't decide for my people, I decide for the people who are not born yet. Thank you very much.